One morning in May, I chanced for to rove, and I sat myself down by the side of a grove. It was there I did hear the sweet nightingale sing, and you never heard so sweet, you never heard so sweet, and you never heard so sweet as the birds in the spring. All on the green grass I sat myself down, while the notes of the nightingale echoed around. Don't you hear how she quivers the notes I declare? No music, no songster, no music, no songster, no music, no songster can with her compare. Come all you young men, I'd have you draw near, and I pray you take heed unto what you do hear, so that when you're grown old you may have it to say that you never heard so sweet, that you never heard so sweet, that you never heard so sweet as the birds on the spray. Banker, he had such a handsome face, all around his hat he wore a band of lace. Besides such a handsome head of hair, for my young banker I will go there. Now as I walked out on a morning fair, to view the green fields and take fresh air, I saw a young banker standing there, and his true love was a lady fair. He said, "Pretty maid, will you go on deck, with a chain of gold around your neck? Whatever you do, I will prove true." But the answer she gave, "I'll have none of you." Banker returned for to go away, but she called to him to bid him stay. Banker, stay, I will prove true. The answer he gave, "I'll have none of you." Then she thought that she heard a foreign man say, "Pack up your clothes and come away." It pierced her through the very heart to think young banker and her should part. Banker, he had such a handsome face, all around his hat he wore a band of lace. Besides such a handsome head of hair, for my young banker I will go there. "Oh, banker," she cried, "my words I rue, forever and a day I will prove true. My foolish heart you may command, if you will only take me by the hand." Banker returned her hand to take, saying with a smile, "Will you go on deck?" So now young banker's gained his bride, the ship she sails on the next full tide. Banker, he had such a handsome face, all around his hat he wore a band of lace. Besides such a handsome head of hair, for my young banker I will go there. quite silent, each mortal at rest. When me and my true love got snug in one nest, when a set of old ruffians they entered our cave, and they forced my dear jewel to plough the salt way. I begged hard for my sailor as though I begged for life, but they'd not listen to me, although a fond wife, saying the king he needs sailors, to the wars he shall go, and they left me lamenting in sorrow and woe. Though my love has left me, I'll not be cast down, for who knows but some day my love might return, and shall make me amends for my sorrow and strife, and me and my true love shall be happy for life. Through green fields and meadows we oft times did walk, and with sweet conversation with love we did talk, while the birds in the woodland so sweetly did sing, and the lovely thrushes' voices made the valleys to ring. Though my love has left me, I'll not be cast down. Who knows but some day my love might return, and shall make me amends for my sorrow and strife, and me and my true love shall be happy for life. Now it's of an old country farmer living in the West Country, and he had the prettiest little wife you ever did see, and a young fellow came a-courting her when the old man he wasn't nigh, and it's oft times they take a tumble amongst the barley and the rye. Now when the old man awoke one morning and he found himself alone, he looked out of the bedroom window and saw his wife in the corn, and the young fellow lay beside her, and it made his old heart to cry. He says, "Wife, wife, I wonder at you for the spoiling of our rye." But she says, "Husband," she says, "oh husband, it's the like I've never done before, and if you have one friend, love, I've another in store. He's a friend who will not deceive you if you will him employ. He's got money enough, love, to pay for both the barley and the rye." Now in the merry month of May, when the men were making hay, I took a walk quite early in the morn, and I spied a pretty maid, she was knitting all up her trade. I said I could help you wind your little ball of yarn. But the blackbird and the thrush, they were singing from every bush, "Keep your hand upon your little ball of yarn." "Oh no, sir," said she, "you're a stranger unto me. No doubt you have some other little darling. I've a friend all of my own, he's got money enough at home. It's there he winds, my little ball of yarn. I put my arm around her waist and gently laid her down. I meant to do this pretty girl no harm, and as I laid her in the shade under her, I gently said, I won't meddle with your little ball of yarn. But the blackbird and the thrush, they were singing from every bush. Keep your hand upon your little ball of yarn. It was there beneath the bush, while the blackbird and the thrush were singing to keep this pretty girl from harm. Then I found to my surprise, as I looked into her eyes, that I was winding up a little ball of yarn. And the blackbird and the thrush, they were singing from every bush. Keep your hand upon your little ball of yarn. A 12-month had passed, I met the girl at last. She had a little baby on her arm. And I said, my pretty miss, oh, I didn't think of this when I was winding up your little ball of yarn. So come all you pretty maidens, listen to what I say. Don't take your walk too early in the morn. Like the blackbird and the thrush, keep one hand upon the bush and keep the other upon your little ball of yarn. It was on the 5th of August, the weather being fair and mild. Unto Brigg fair I did repair, for love I was inclined. I rose up with the lark in the morning, my heart it was full of glee, expecting there to see my dear, a long time I'd wished to see. I looked over my left shoulder to see whom I could see, and there I spied my own true love come travelling down to me. I took hold of her lily white hand, and it was merrily sang my heart. Now that we're together, love, I hope we ne'er shall part. Oh, it's part, my dear, no, never. Such things they'll never be. If ever I prove false to her, the lass that loveth me. As I walked out on a morning fair to view the green fields and to take fresh air, there I heard a pretty maid making her complain. All she wanted was the chiefest grain, the chiefest grain. All she wanted was the chiefest grain. I stepped up to this pretty maid, unto her these words I said, come, pretty maiden, do you stand in need? For I've got a grain called the wanton seed, the wanton seed. I've got a grain called the wanton seed. Yes, kind sir, I do stand in need, and if you've a grain called the wanton seed, seed. Well, I sowed high and I sowed low, and underneath her apron the seed did grow. It grew up so neatly without any weed. She always commanded the wanton seed, the wanton seed. She always commanded the wanton seed. But when 9 long months they were gone and past, she came back to me with the slender waist. Came back to me and thus she did complain. She wanted some more of the chiefest grain, the chiefest grain. She wanted some more of the chiefest grain. The water is wide, I cannot get o'er, neither have I wings to fly. Give me a boat that will carry two, and we both shall row, my love and I. Oh, down in the meadows the other day, are gathering flowers, both fine and gay. Are gathering flowers, both red and blue. I little thought what love can do. I leaned my back up against an oak, thinking that he was a trusty tree. But first he bended and then he broke, and so did my false love to me. I put my hand into some soft bush, thinking the sweetest flower to find. I pricked my finger right to the bone, and left the sweetest flower alone. A ship there is, and she sails the sea. She's loaded deep, as deep can be, but not so deep as the love I'm in. I know not if I sink or swim. Oh, Waly, Waly, but love be bonny. A little time while it is new, but when it is old, it groweth cold and fades away like morning dew. Now Hodge met Molly, the miller's maid, who had long his suit denied, half inclined, half afraid. So he stretched his old neck and cried, Molly, since that I love you so, never again will you say to me nay. Hang down straight to church we'll go. Don't you be foolish now, Molly, I pray. But Molly said with an artful blush, putting to shame the rose's hue, leave hold of my hand, hush, pray speak softly do. I fear that we shall be overheard, the mill I know don't work today. Nay, but I beg you speak not a word, don't you be foolish now, Hodge, I pray. Then Hodge, a daunted man, turning away with a tear in his eye, says, I'll give Susan my hand, since you do cast off I. Me cast you off, never, says she, the mill I know don't work today. Yes, she cries, I'll give you my hand, don't you be foolish now, Hodge, I pray. Fare thee well, my dearest dear, fare thee well, adieu, for I am bound to seek, for the sake of you. Love, have a patient heart, for you must bear the smart. For you and I must part, my turtle dove. You'll have silver and bright gold, houses and lands. What more can you desire? Love, don't complain. And servants to your hand, and maids at your command. But you to stay at home when I am gone. Your gold I'll count as dust when that you are fled. Your absence proves me lost and strikes me dead. When you are far from home, your servants I'll have none. I'd rather live alone than in company. So nimbly then she dressed, or in man's attire, for to go to sea was her heart's desire. She cut her lovely hair, and no mistrust was there, that she a maiden were all at the time. To Venice we were bound, with our hearts content, no fear of the ship being wrecked, away we went. From London but one day, our ship got cast away, which caused our lives to lay in discontent. Our ship was cast away, misfortune it did frown, for I did swim to shore, but she did drown. Now she lies in the deep, in everlasting sleep, which causes me to weep forevermore. It's of a wealthy tailor, a story I'll relate. He lived at the sign of the Ram and the Gate. The Ram and the Gate was the place where he did dwell. It's wine and women's company he loved exceeding well. Oh well, oh well, oh well, my boys, oh well. It's wine and women's company he loved exceeding well. This tailor he'd been drinking a glass or two of wine. Not being used to drinking, well, it made his face to shine. Made his face to shine, just like the morning sun. He swore he'd have a bonny lass before the night was done. Was done, before the night was done. He swore he'd have a bonny lass before the night was done. He hugged her and he kissed her, he called her his dear honey. While they were a-kissing, she was fingering of his money, a-fingering of his money, when the tailor smiled and said, if you'll lend me your petticoats, I'll dance like a maid. A maid, a maid, a maid, boys, a maid. If you'll lend me your petticoats, I'll dance like a maid. So the tailor took his breeches off and the maid's petticoats put on. He danced a little dance and the maiden sang a song. Then the maiden danced a dance while the tailor played a tune. But she danced the tailor's breeches right out of the room. The room, the room, the room, me boys, the room. She danced the tailor's breeches right out of the room. Was ever there a tailor been done as I've been done? Me gold watch and me money and me breeches, they're all gone. I can't go out dressed up like this, they'd call me garden flower. If ever I get my breeches back, I'll never dance no more. No more, no more, no more, me boys, no more. If ever I get my breeches back, I'll never dance no more. Now as I walked out upon one bright May morning to view the meadows and leaves so green, how should I meet but my own true lover, as she sat under the willow tree. I took off my hat and I did salute her. I did salute her most courteously. She turned around to me and tears fell from her, saying, false young man, you have deluded me. For to delude you, how can that be, my love? When from your body I am quite free, I'm as free from you, my love, as the babe unborn is. And so are you, my love, free from me. But the diamond ring, my love, I own you gave me. That diamond ring to wear on my right hand. The vows you gave, love, you went and broke them. You married the lassie that had the land. If I married the lassie that had the land, my love, it's that I'll rue until the day I die. But when fortune calls, love, well, who would shun her? But I was blindfolded, I'll not deny. For at night, when I go to my bed of slumber, the thoughts of my true love, they run in my mind. I turn me round for to embrace my darling. Instead of gold, it's brass I find. How I wish the Queen would call home her armies from France, America, the West Indies and Spain, that every man might have his own wed woman, in hopes that you and I might meet again. It was down in Cupid's garden, for pleasure I did go, viewing of the flowers that in that garden grow, that in that garden grow. I hadn't been in that garden not the space of half an hour, when whom should I see but two young maids, sitting under a shady bower, sitting under a shady bower. One of the maids was Nancy, her beauty it shone rare, and the other one was a virgin. She did the laurel wear, she did the laurel wear. They were pulling off the yellow jessamine, the lily pink and rose. These are the finest flowers that in that garden grows, that in that garden grows. I stepped up to this virgin maid, and unto her did say, are you engaged to any young man? Come and tell to me, I pray, come tell to me, I pray. I'm not engaged to any young man, I solemnly declare, and I mean to stay a virgin, and still the laurel wear, and still the laurel wear. Oh, says I, my stars and gardens, why here's a pretty show, that as fine a virgin ever was seen, should serve all young men so, should serve all young men so. But t'other young maid looked slyly at me, her beauty it shone rare. Sir, if you and I go together, then she may still the laurel wear, and still the laurel wear. Once I loved a lass, and she loved not me, all because I was so poor, so very poor, so very poor. But now, all in good part, she hath stole away my heart, and she'll keep it forevermore. As I stood under my love's window last night, I called so shrilly, 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 shrill, my dear. And my love, she arose and hastened on her clothes, and she came down and let me in. Now when I beheld my true love's charms, My heart it beat so faint, so very faint, so very faint, and I gathered her up all in my arms, and carried her up to bed. Now in the first part of that night, how we did sport and play, so pretty play, so pretty play. But all in the second part of the night, asleep in my arms she lay. Now her father kept a cock, 'twas a pretty crowing cock. He crowed all in the morn, so very soon, so very soon. My love, she thought it day, and hastened me away, but it proved to be the light of the moon. Now the cocks they did crow, and the winds did blow, as I tripped o'er the plain, so very plain, so very plain. And I wished that I was back, all in her arms, and she in her bed again. Oh, I'll be true to my love, as the sun do shine, all over the fallow, 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 fallow ground. But if she's not true to me, as I am true to she, I would rather she was lost than found. Fare thee well, me lovely Nancy, for it's now I must leave you. All on the salt seas I am bound for to go. But let my long absence be no trouble to you, for I must return in the spring, as you know. Like a pretty little sea boy, I'll dress and go with you. In the deepest of danger I will stand as your friend. In the cold stormy weather, love, I'll be no trouble to you. My dear, I'll be willing for to wait upon you then. But your pretty little hands, they can't handle our tackle, and your dainty little feet on our topmast can't go. The cold stormy weather, love, why you can't well endure it. I would have you at home when the raging winds do blow. So fare thee well, me lovely Nancy, for it's now I must leave you. All on the salt seas I am bound for to go. But you must be loyal and be faithful and constant, for I will return in the spring, as you know. A fine young man it was indeed, mounted upon his milk-white steed. He rode himself all alone, until he came to lovely Joan. Good morning to you, kind sir, she said, and twice good morning to you, fair maid. She gave him the wink as she passed him by. Says he to himself, I'll be there by and by. Oh, don't you think these poops of hay are a pretty place for us to play? Then come along with me, my sweet young thing, and I'll give to you my golden ring. Then he pulled out his ring of gold. My pretty miss, do this behold. Free I'll give it for your maidenhead, her cheeks they blushed like roses red. Give me that ring into my hand, and I will neither stay nor stand, for this will do more good unto me than 20 maidenheads, said she. But as they came to the pooks of hay, she leaped upon his horse and she rode away. She rode, and he called all in vain, but Joan, she never looked back again. Nor did she think herself quite safe, not until she came to her true lover's gate. She's robbed that man of his horse and his ring, and left him to rage in the meadows green. I once had a boy, and a bonny, bonny boy, who would come and would go at request, and this handsome young boy was my pride and my joy, and I built him a bower in my breast, and I built him a bower in my breast. Then up the long alleys and down the long valleys, like one that was troubled in mind, I hollered and I hooped, I played upon my flute, but no sweet bonny boy could I find. No sweet bonny boy could I find. So I sat myself down on a green mossy bank, where the sun it shone a wonderful warm, and there I spied my own bonny boy, fast locked in some other girl's arms, fast locked in some other girl's arms. Well, the girl that's the joy of my own bonny boy, let her make of him all that she can, and whether he love me or whether he do not, I will walk with that boy now and then. I will walk with that boy now and then. It's of a pretty female, as you shall understand. She had a mind for roving into some foreign land. Attired in sailor's clothing, she boldly did appear, and engaged with our captain to serve him for a year. She engaged with our captain a cabin boy to be. The wind it being in favour, we boldly put to sea. The captain's lady being on board seemed in great joy, so glad the captain had engaged a handsome cabin boy. So nimble was this pretty girl, she did her duties well. But mark what followed after, as the song it tune will tell. For eating captain's biscuits, her colour did destroy, and the waist did swell on pretty Nell, the handsome cabin boy. As through the Bay of Biscay our gallant ship did plough, one night amongst the sailors there was an awful row. They tumbled from their hammocks it did their rest destroy. They cursed about the groaning of the handsome cabin boy. Oh doctor, that cabin boy did cry. The sailors swore by all and some that the cabin boy would die. But the doctor ran with all his might, smiling at the fun, to think a sailor lad should have a daughter or a son. Now when the sailors saw the babe, they all began to swear, this child belongs to none of us, we solemnly declare. The captain's lady looked at him, my dear, I wish you joy. 'Twas either you or I betrayed the handsome cabin boy.